Chapter 8. Leo Kelly at home in the tennis den. Leo Kelly sat in the tennis den of his suburban Maryland home with a trainer pistol pointed at the image of John Joseph on the wall screen. He had arranged his 9 stations in the ever more popular enamel box format with John Joseph in the center square. Leo depressed the sensor and a red laser lit up on Joseph's nose directly between his eyes. The last funeral Leo had attended was the stately procession of his esteemed pistol instructor and Renaissance man extraordinaire, Milton Wilshire. Fresh out of Notre Dame, Leo had never wielded anything more dangerous than a tennis racket. In pursuit of fulfilling his life's dream of becoming a federal narcotics agent, Leo accepted a position as a small-town patrolman in western Maryland. At the Maryland Police Academy, he would find himself under the tutelage of Milton Wilshire. Mr. Wilshire had been a Rhodes Scholar who studied at Colgate, Oxford, Johns Hopkins, and George Washington, and he would teach at American University, the Naval War College, and James Madison. Armed with a hefty trust fund, he was able to abandon academia and devote his life to his most enduring passion, the teaching of marksmanship. He would be the best teacher Leo would ever know in any discipline. His love and respect for ballistics, great and small, was infectious. Leo grew to love pistol shooting almost as much as he loved tennis. Leo had diligently followed Mr. Wilshire's drills, specifically the focus exercise, where he always pointed a pistol at the character's face while he watched TV. No pistol, no TV. The camera would change angles and the arm would move ever so slightly. Every show was entertaining and Leo honed his gunsmanship. After Leo climbed aboard DEA, he joined an exclusive D.C. area gun club, where Mr. Wilshire was a senior member. The two men became friendly, and Leo would continue to learn from his mentor. Mr. Wilshire was always technophilic, and he introduced Leo to laser pistols as training devices. When wall screen and nano boxes, or niners as they were referred to by certain ethnic groups, became popular, Mr. Wilshire introduced Leo to a program called TV Target. TV Target allowed the user to fire off 9 shots at 9 channels. The frames froze and the shooter would be scored on accuracy and quickness. Earlier today, Leo had fired off a 9 for 9 where he popped Gomer Pyle in the right eye, Gilligan on the right cheekbone, Mr. T in the middle of the forehead, left eyes for 2 news bims, and an actress in a life insurance commercial, a chin shot for a smartass in a beer commercial, a nose shot for some televangelist, and a crown shot for a dog featured on Pitbull Rescue. As exhilarated as Leo felt, he did not feel the desire to immediately duplicate his results with another 9-shot exercise. John Joseph had come on screen, and Leo would place Joseph in what would correspond to the centerpiece on Hollywood Squares. He would then only focus his pistol on Joseph. Joseph needed a bullet, and Leo fantasized about delivering it. Leo's concentration was broken by his wife Katie's entrance into the den. "Did you get my message?" she inquired anxiously. Looking up from the TV, Leo started to ask his wife on which medium she had left a message when she blurted out, "Lee flunked his drug test, marijuana and over-the-counters." With that, Katie turned and raced to the bathroom. Middle age had been relatively kind to Katie Kelly, except for sudden onset bowel movements. The doctors had spent months ruling out cancer and Crohn's disease, as well as a bundle of maladies, both life-threatening and not so life-threatening. The experts scratched their heads and sent her to a food allergist who had yet to pinpoint any particular irritant. A couple of public embarrassments had led Katie to resign her position on the parish council and to cease volunteer work at Lee's school. Katie had blamed her much-discussed accident in the St. John's headmaster's office for her son's efflorescing drug abuse. The whole school had heard about Kelly's catastrophe. In her eyes, she disgraced her only child, her pride and joy. How could a child not turn to drugs after such humiliation? Leo assessed the situation differently. Leo had always been a devout Roman Catholic. He had planned to devote his entire life to following the strictures of the church, but infertility would raise its ugly head. Dr. Faust, yes, his name really was Dr. Faust, would ultimately recommend in vitro fertilization. A Faustian bargain was sealed. The in vitro fertilization was a skeleton in Leo Kelly's closet. While still in the crib, Leo Eugene Kelly, Jr. had established himself as a problem child. He was always moody and whiny and cruel, and adolescence did not seem to improve his character. Privately, Leo Kelly speculated as to whether in vitro fertilizations just might be the spawns of the devil. Leo's gloom would be displaced by the fog of despair that would arrive in the form of a cell call from Walter McVeigh. Even with a Ronald Reagan synthesizer that sometimes sounded cartoonish, the voice sounded stern. What makes you think Agent Orange will complete his assignment? What makes you think Agent Orange will complete his assignment? The operative is, how shall we say it, stupid. He is convinced that the law will deal more harshly with a federal agent who steals property than it will deal with a political assassin. He believes that if he completes the job in the right jurisdiction, the locals will erect a monument in his honor. If Agent Orange is so stupid, what makes you think he will be successful? He is selectively stupid. He is good with a pistol, and he is ruthless. Very skilled when he focuses his attention. Very skilled. What would you assess the probability that Agent Orange will attempt to complete the mission? Approaching 100%. And should he make a gallant effort to complete his mission, what are the odds that he will succeed? Between 90 and 99%. That is a substantial swing. 1 in 10 versus 1 in 100. I concede it is imprecise. What are the odds that he will escape capture? None. None. That's right. In that case, the employer could be sued. His company terminated him 3 months ago. Another company continued with his payroll deposits, and another company picked up his health insurance. He is oblivious to details, but his name is certainly on reports and documents, and his whereabouts had to be monitored if he worked for your company. 2 sets of documents for when he showed up for work. If for some reason we wanted to do so, we could also establish that he is a current employee or that he left 3 months ago. We're flexible. Do you have a record of his psychiatric appointments? We made appointments for him and he never showed up. Maybe we forgot to notify him. So the Observer will be seen as a caring organization and an uncooperative rogue. So the Observer will see a caring organization and an uncooperative rogue. Yes, that's how it is. We thought he was a good man, but he fell apart when his marriage failed. In our unending concerns, we did everything to help him. Perhaps we're guilty of caring too much. One more question. How did we get where we are today? Walter McVeigh was asking about how the plan went haywire. They were supposed to deliver kitty porn to Tony Taffy's computer. That failed. They were supposed to plant a pound of meth in Tony Taffy's trunk. That failed. There was Plan C and Plan D, but time slipped through their fingers, and now the elections were creeping up on them. They had to resort to the executive plan. And Leo wanted to remind his enemies list colleague that he only worked with the personnel others had sent him. And he wanted to remind his old friend just how clever Tony Taffy happened to be. But he knew he was looking for something else. "I fucked up," the lady voice intoned, hiding any trace of remorse. "You certainly did," the Reagan voice said coldly. "You certainly did."